Hello everybody, welcome to the classes by Monisha Nathpal. Today we are going to learn about the topic integers. We all are acquainted to the system of natural numbers. What are natural numbers? Numbers like these represent the system of natural numbers. When to this system I introduce a 0, this becomes so on the system of whole numbers. Okay, this is your natural numbers, this is your whole numbers. Okay, now you see that the natural number is falling into the family of whole numbers. Okay, the natural numbers are falling into the family of whole numbers because I can see every natural number is present as an element in the set of whole numbers except the element 0. Okay, now we have done several operations based on whole numbers, operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Alright, now when we talk about addition, when we add two whole numbers, we get a whole number. Okay, say 7 plus 2, 9, 10 plus 8, 18 and so on. When we talk about subtraction, when I say 17 minus 12, I get 5. It's a whole number. When I say 17 minus 17, I get 0, which is again a whole number. But when I say 17 minus 20, there is a doubt here in this case. Why? Because I can see from a big number, if I subtract a small number, I get an answer. From a number, if I subtract itself, I get a 0. But when I have to subtract a bigger number from a smaller number, what is the answer to that? Whatever is the answer, that is not falling into the category of whole numbers, isn't it? So, to provide answer to these questions, we have to extend our system of whole numbers. We have to expand the family. So when we expand the family, this gives rise, on expansion, this gives rise to a new category of numbers called the negative numbers. Okay, the negative numbers. Now as the word negative itself tells you, that means there is something related to the minus. Now there are negative means there are positive. When I bring you to the word negative, I have to also bring you to the word positive. Now what is this? You see, I said to the whole numbers, I have to bring on a new category of numbers, that is the negative numbers. So this category of the numbers adds on to the left of 0, that is lesser than 0. This is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on. You see these numbers, the natural numbers, go on extending on the right side, and these numbers which I have just now told you, that is the category of negative numbers, they go on extending in the left hand side of 0. So these numbers starting from 1 and so on, these are your natural numbers, or they are called the positive integers. Positive integers, that is what we are going to learn, integers. Now why positive? Because 1 I can write as plus 1, 2 I can write as plus 2, 3 I can write as plus 3, 4 I can write as plus 4 and so every natural number I can write as plus that natural number. And here just opposite to every positive number I have a negative number. So right from minus 1 to the extreme end, we have no end to that, that is your negative integers. Okay, and what about this 0? What about this 0? 0 does not fall into the category of positive integers, 0 does not fall into the category of your negative integers. So 0 plays a very neutral role. 0 is neither positive nor negative. Let us say this as the neutral number. Let us name it as neutral number because it has no sign, no plus, no minus. These are all negative ones, these are all positive ones, and these are the neutral numbers. Am I clear? Alright, now we all have been doing number line from very smaller classes. Okay, we have learned about number lines from the smaller classes. So if I draw a number line, you know that these arrows tell you that the number line is extending infinitely on either directions. Now here I am putting first element as the 0. Now every number on the right of 0 will be representing my positive numbers. Say plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6, plus 7, plus 8, plus 9 and so on. And at an equal distance here, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7 and so on. So you see, one step to the right hand side of 0, I get a plus 1. And one step to the left hand side of 0, I get a minus 1. 2 steps to the right hand side of 0, I get a plus 2. And 2 steps to the left hand side of 0, I get a minus 2. So from 0, if I take right hand side steps, they will represent the positive numbers. If I go to the left hand side, the number of steps that I take, that will be representing my negative numbers. So each of these positive and the negative numbers, plus 1, minus 1, they are the opposites of each other. Plus 2, minus 2, plus 3, minus 3. So they are each other's positives. I hope this much was clear. Okay. Let us draw the number line first. Now, you have to know certain facts about the integers. That is, 0 is less than every positive integer. This we know because we have been doing natural numbers. We know that 0 is less than every natural number. So natural number means here the positive integers. So 0 is less than every positive integer. Number 2, 0 is greater than every negative integer. 0 is always more than every negative integer. Number 3, all negative integers are less than all positive integers. Okay. Now certain times if I tell you these 3 things, you will know. You have to learn them. That is, 0 is less than every positive integer, 0 is more than every negative integer, and all negative integers are less than all positive integers. Now suddenly if I tell you, tell me 4 is greater or 7 is greater, you will say that 7 is of course greater than 4 because we know this. If I say tell me 0 is greater or 5 is greater, you will say 5 is greater. Fine, because 0 is less than every positive integer. If I say tell 0 is greater or minus 7 is greater, you will say 0 is greater because 0 is greater than every negative integer. Now what if I say you minus 5 is greater or minus 7 is greater, because if you compare 5 and 7, you will say 5 is lesser than 7. But what about this? Now first I will deal up with these 4 things you see here on the number line. What was my first example? 4 is less than 7. So what are the two numbers? 4, 7. Now when I take these two numbers, you tell me which number is lying on my right hand side. 4 is one number, 7 is one number. So which number was on my right hand side? The 7. So the 7 is greater because 7 was lying on the right, this was lying on the left. Now let's see 0 and 5. 0, 5. Which is on my right hand side? The 5 is on my right hand side. 0 was on my left hand side. Let's see 0 and minus 7. Minus 7 is not there on the number line. Let's extend this. Minus 6, minus 7. Okay. 0 and minus 7. 0, minus 7. Okay, so minus 7 is on my left hand side and 0 was on my right hand side. Fine. Let's see 5 and 7. 5, 7. 5 is on my left hand side, 7 on my right hand side. So one thing you can observe here from all these examples which I have done, that is the numbers which were lying on my right hand side, they are greater than the numbers which are lying on my left hand side. In all these examples we saw this. So this is the concept that you will have to know, that is on a number line, whichever number, if I compare two numbers, whichever number lies on my right hand side, that number is greater than the number which is on the left hand side. So here in this question it was minus 5 is greater or minus 7 is greater. So let us see the two numbers, minus 5, minus 7. Which is on my right hand side? Minus 5 is on my right hand side, and number on the left hand side was minus 7. So following the above examples and going by that same logic, minus 5 is greater. Okay, minus 5 is greater. So if I compare this one and this one, see 5 and 7. Okay, 5 and 7 means 5 was a positive number, 7 was a positive number. So if we are given two positive numbers, we compare them following either the left and right rule, or we can say that however the way we have learnt about natural numbers, same way we can compare these positive numbers. But when we come to the negative numbers, what is it? We are seeing that the number, if I take up just the number without the sign, you see 5 and 7, who is greater? If I consider just 5 and just 7, who is greater? 7 is greater. But here when both are having minus signs, you just reverse the sign of this inequality, that is you reverse, because 7 is more, so minus 7 will be less, 5 is less, so minus 5 will be more. Let us take one more example, minus 2 and minus 15 suppose. So just take up these two numbers, just the numbers without the sign, 2 and 15. 2 is more or 15 is more? 15 is more, that means minus 15 will be lesser. Even if I compare them on the number line, though my number line is not extended to minus 15, so you can see 2 is here on my right hand side, and if I take and extend this number line, minus 15 will be lying on my left hand side. So this is the left hand side, this is the right hand side. So yes, the right hand side number is greater, so minus 2 is greater. So if I say minus 2 and plus 2, who will be greater? You can go by this logic, all negative integers are less than all positive integers. So if I go by this logic, this is greater. Also if I go my right and left, minus 2 plus 2. So plus 2 is on my right hand side, so plus 2 is greater. Okay, so whenever we are asked to compare numbers, what we will see? We will see to it that in the number line, which number is lying on my right hand side. So the number which is lying on my right hand side, that will be greater than the number which is on my left hand side. Alright. Okay. Let us see some examples where, say if I ask you, I give you 4 numbers and I tell you arrange them in the ascending order. Ascending order. Ascending order means you know from small to big. So first thing you have to know is that when I put them in the, when I arrange these numbers on the number line, the number which is lying in the extreme left will be the smallest and the number lying in the extreme right will be the greatest. Alright. So whenever you are given such numbers, no, you can do it in that way, or else if you want to make lesser mistakes, what you can do is you can first separate the numbers out. What are the negative numbers? Minus 24 and minus 76. And what are the positive numbers? 32 and 76. So I can see over here, out of 32 and 76, which is smaller? 32 is lesser than 76. Alright, very good. Now here in between them, so out of minus 76 and minus 24, which will be on the right hand side? If you see this number line, if I start writing the numbers from here, the first number that will come is minus 24, then more left if I go, I'll come to minus 76. That means extreme left who is lying? Minus 76, and then towards the right minus 24. So minus 76 is lesser than minus 24. Also you can check it in this way, just take up these two numbers. Who is greater? 76 is more than 24. So when I put the minus signs to them, this sign gets reversed. So minus 76 is lesser than minus 24. So minus 76 less than minus 24. Now comes the positive numbers. Now I know that the next number to minus 24 will be 32, because these are the four numbers given to us. These two are arranged. So the next number that will come to minus 24 between these two numbers will be 32. Okay, if you imagine the number line, after minus 24, if you keep on writing the numbers, you will see 32 coming in the number line. So then next is 32, then is 76. In one way I can say you, first you arrange these set, then you arrange these set, then you join them together. That is it. So minus 76, minus 24, minus 32 and 76. So the order of the numbers is this. So whenever you are asked to arrange the numbers either in the ascending order or in the descending order, what you can do is you separate the numbers in two groups. One group of negative numbers, one group of positive numbers. So the negative numbers you arrange them together, then the positive numbers you arrange them in the required order, then you combine the two. If I had an additional set over here, additional number over here, say minus 94, okay, so this would have fallen here minus 94, because minus 94 would lie more left to minus 76. It would lie again in the more left position to minus 76, means that would have been the least. So minus 94, minus 76, minus 24. So I would have had a minus 94 over here. So minus 94 is lesser than minus 76, that is again lesser than minus 24, which is lesser than 32, which is lesser than 76. So out of these numbers, so the least is this number and the greatest is 47. This was 40. Okay, let us make this as minus 76. Okay, let us make this as 76. I copied, took the wrong question from there. Yeah, let us take it as 76. So minus 24, minus 76, minus 94. These are the three negative numbers, and the two positive numbers are 32 and 76. So minus 94 is this one, minus 94 lesser than minus 76, which is lesser than minus 24. The negative numbers done. Then comes the positive numbers, 32 and 76. We know that 32 is lesser than 76, so 32 lesser than 76. So join them together. Minus 94 less than minus 76, less than minus 24, less than 32, less than 76. So here it ends. So similarly, if you are given the descending order, same way you can do it in the descending order, means from the greater to the smaller. All right. So this was about your comparison of two numbers or arranging a given set of numbers in the ascending order or in the descending order. All right. Okay. Now we are coming to the next topic, that is your successor, and the next is predecessor. Okay, so first is successor and the next is predecessor. Now successor, we know, we have been doing successor, that whenever we are given a number n and we are asked to find the successor of n, we do a plus 1. Say if I say 100, what is the successor of 100? It is 101. If it is, I say 299, you will say the successor is 300. So what we do? We do a plus 1 to it. What about a predecessor? We always do a minus 1 to it. That is, suppose I say 99, the predecessor of 99 will be 98. If I give you 102, the predecessor will be 101. That is 1 less than the number. Alright. So remember that on the number line, whenever we are asked to find the successor or the predecessor of a particular number, we will see, suppose this is the number line, Okay, so if we are asked to find the successor of a particular number, we will just go one step right of it. So successor of 0 will be 1. What is the successor of minus 3? It will be minus 2. So just the number next to it. In case of successor, you will just see the very next number lying in the right hand side. The very next number lying in the right hand side. And in case of your predecessor, you will see the number lying to the very left of it. That is, if I say minus 1, the predecessor of minus 1 will be the number to the left of it. What is the number left to it? Minus 2. If I say 4, what is the predecessor of 4? That is 3. Means the very next number in the left hand side is this. Now if I say minus 1, what is the successor of minus 1? The number lying to the very right of plus 1, or to the very right of minus 1 is your 0. Okay, suppose I say 2, what is the successor of 2? The number lying very next and in the right hand side of 2 is 3. So whenever we are asked to find the successor and the predecessor, you will see that for the successor, you will just take up the number lying the very next right part of it, and for predecessor it is the number lying in the very left of it. Just the number lying in the near left or the near right. Near right is the successor, near left is your predecessor. Okay. Now, the absolute value of a number. When we say absolute value of a number, say, let us say the number minus 2, the number minus 7, the number 5, the number 0. Okay, the absolute value of an integer is the numerical value of the integer regardless of the sign. Means no sign, just the number itself. So when we represent absolute value, we will write it within 2 vertical bars. So the absolute value of minus 2 is written in short, the absolute value of minus 2. In short, we write it like this. Absolute value, this symbol represents the absolute value, and this is just the number without the sign. Absolute value of minus 7 is just 7. Absolute value of 5 or positive 5, whatever you say, that is 5. Absolute value of 0 will be 0. So remember that the absolute value of an integer, what is it? The absolute value of an integer is just the integer, the numerical value of the integer regardless of the sign. No sign, just the number with the numerical value. Okay, and no sign involved in that. So the absolute value of an integer is the numerical value of the integer regardless of its sign. So the absolute value of minus 2, it is written as this symbol is equal to, what is the absolute value of this? That is equal to 2. Absolute value of minus 7 is equal to just 7. Absolute value of 5 is just 5, and absolute value of 0 is 0. So you can see over here what we can note, that is the absolute value of an integer can either be 0. If it is 0, it becomes 0. Otherwise, it is always a positive number. Okay, it is never negative. The absolute value will never bring a negative sign over here. Okay, so they are always non-negative. Either 0, no sign at all, because 0 is neither positive nor negative. So the absolute value of an integer is 0 in case of 0 and positive otherwise. All right. Achha. Now in our real life, we come across situations where we deal with integers, okay, knowing or in the unknowing way. Let us say the situations will be which represent the positive integers and situation which represent the negative integers. Say profit. We know profit or gain, these will add on something. Okay, so this will be actually representing the positive integers. So the opposite will be loss. Okay, next comes deposits. When we deposit something in the bank, when deposit some amount in the bank, that will be positive, and if we withdraw, that becomes negative. So deposit represents positive and withdrawal represents negative. So say temperature above 0 degree Celsius, the positive temperatures, and temperature below 0, temperature below 0 degree Celsius, that will be representing our negative integers. Or say, let's say the heights above the sea level and heights below sea level. Okay, these are certain examples which I have given that represent your positive and negative integers. So profit or gain will represent positive integers, deposits in the bank or deposits in your post offices, whatever it is, these deposits will be representing your positive integers. Then temperatures above 0, heights above sea level, they will all represent heights above sea level, all will represent your positive integers. And negative integers is loss, withdrawal from banks, temperature below 0, heights below sea level. Okay, these are certain examples that tell you the real life situations where we deal with our positive and our negative integers. Okay, so I hope the basic introduction to integers was clear. So if you see the video again a number of times, the concept of integers, the introduction to integers will be very clear. It's a very interesting topic and a very important topic as well. So I hope everybody will learn the experience the topic integers from my video. If you like my way of teaching and like the topic integers, please like my channel. If you want to get benefited from more and learn more, then please subscribe my channel. We'll meet you very soon with my next video on the topic integers. Thank you. Hello everybody, welcome to the classes by Monisha Nagpal. In the previous video we had started on with the topic integers. Today we are going to learn more on integers. Today we are going to do the topic addition and subtraction on integers. So giving you a small recap on whatever we learnt the other day, that is, we learnt about positive integers, the negative integers, the relation between positive and negative integers. Then we learnt about the number line, how to compare the negative and positive integers, and how to compare two negative integers, arranging them in ascending order, descending order. We had learned these things. Today we are going to learn about the addition and subtraction of integers. Now if I tell you add 7 and 5, that means if I consider 7 as an integer, 5 as an integer, so I can say adding plus 7 and plus 5. So we know that 7 plus 5 is equal to 12. So that means 12. No sign means, we know when there is no sign, it means that's a positive sign. So what I can see over here, plus 7 plus 5 is equal to plus 12. Let's take one more example. 10 plus 4. Okay, so if I take this as plus 10 and this as plus 4, so I know 10 plus 4 is equal to 14. So 14 means a plus 14. So what I can see, adding two positive integers, we are again getting a positive integer. So this is what we are going to use. That is, if I add a positive integer to another positive integer, what is the result? The result will have a positive integer, just as the symbol, whatever the two numbers are having, that same sign the answer will also have, that sum will also have. And what is the answer? Just the way we find out the normal sum. Okay, so adding two positive integers, we got a positive integer. Now what about adding two negative integers? What about this? So when we add two negative integers, just remember one thing. Take just the two numbers without the sign. So without the two signs, what are the numbers? 7 and 5. Okay. Now if I add them up, what is the answer? The answer is 12. So put a 12. And what was the sign both of them are having? Minus. So put this minus. Just following this format. We were adding two positive integers. The result was the sum of the two numbers and the sign which the two numbers carried here. Here also same, we are adding two negative integers. What is the answer? The answer will be the addition of these two numbers without thinking of the sign, and what will be the sign? The sign will be the common sign that the two numbers are having. Similarly, if I add minus 10 and minus 4, we get 14, because if I add 10 and 4, I know it is 14. And what is the sign both of them are having? Negative sign. So a negative 14. Alright. Once again, a little more on this, more examples on this. Let's add minus 49 plus minus 81. If I say add these two, take some time. I am giving you this time. Take 5 seconds and think of this. I think by now you have got the answer. So yes, so first you add the two numbers without the sign, that is 49 plus 81, 130. So this is 130, but the sum doesn't end over here. These two numbers were having the minus sign. So what is the common sign? Minus. So the answer is minus 130. So what you have to remember, that is when we are adding either two positive integers, the answer will always be a positive integer. Okay, so it's a positive x and a positive y. So answer is positive x plus y. So if it's a minus x plus a minus y, so the answer will be a minus x plus y. So just take the x and take the y, means just the two numbers you take, add them, and the sign will be the sign which the two numbers are carrying. I hope it is clear. So here minus x was this, plus minus y, so that is equal to, see, minus, what is your x plus y? X plus x is 49, y is 81, so x plus y is 130. So 49 plus 81 is 130, so minus 49 plus minus 81 is minus 130. So this was all about your adding two positive integers or two negative integers. Now what about when we add a positive integer and a negative integer? Let's see. Say if I tell you add minus 37 and minus, or let's say plus 19, minus 37 and plus 19. So now in case you are having such numbers, here this is a negative number and this is a positive number, what to do? You just take out the numbers, separate them without thinking of the sign, just the two numbers 37, 19. Now find out the difference. What is 37 minus 19? That is your 18. Okay, now write down this 18 over here. Now comes the way to deal with the sign. Now out of this 39 and 19, who is greater? 39 is greater. Okay, so you see what sign the 39 is having, 37 is having over here. 37 is having a minus sign, so put a minus sign over here. Okay, clear? A little more. Minus 9 plus 6. So this is the negative integer, this is a positive integer. So just bring the numbers separately, subtract them. 3. So the number is 3. What about the sign now? So it was 9 minus 3 we did. So who is greater? 9 is greater. Now check what is the sign of 9. 9 is having a minus sign. So a minus sign. Okay. So you have to, when you are, don't check over here who is 9, minus 9 or plus 6, who is greater, plus 6 is greater, so why not a plus sign? No. First you take out the numbers separately, subtract them, then in this step of subtraction, in this, I am repeating again, in this step of subtraction you see which is the first number, 9 or the greater number, either the first number or greater, whichever way you can think it to be. So 9 was the greater number. So now you refer in this actual question, what is the sign of 9? So sign of 9 was minus. So this is minus 3. Am I clear? Let's see. A little more on that. Minus 200 minus 238 plus 506. Think this. Take 5 seconds and do it. Hurry up. By now you might have already started solving, or some of you have already solved the sum. So I can see this is the negative integer, this is a positive integer. So what is the rule I will use? I will just bring out the two numbers. 238 is one number, 506 is the other number. So subtract them, that is 506 minus 238. So if I subtract 506 and 506 and 238, I get 268. Yeah, let's check. Yeah, 268. Now 268 I have done. Now you see this 268, we will write over here 268. Now in this step of minus, 506 was the first number or the greater number. So 506, what is the sign of 506 over here? Positive sign. So that is a positive sign. You can write that is 268, either plus 268 or simply 268. Okay. Similarly, you can see minus 347 and plus 199. What about this? Minus 347 and plus 199. So what are we going to do over here? This is a negative number I can see, and this is 199 is a positive number. So you take them out, 347, 199. You subtract them. So 347 minus 199 is 148. 347 minus 199 is 148. Now here, what is the sign of 347? It is minus sign. So it will be minus 148. Okay, is it clear? I hope it is clear. So whenever we add, so with these examples, what did we learn so far? That is, whenever I am adding a positive integer to a positive integer, I am getting the answer as a positive integer. Whenever I am adding a negative integer to a negative integer, the answer will be a negative integer. Alright. Now, whenever I am adding a positive integer and a negative integer, what do? We will find out the difference of the two numbers without thinking of the sign. We find out the difference, and here the sign will be what? In that difference, in that particular difference which we did, what was the sign of the first integer? Okay. So here I am writing sign of first integer. Sign of first integer. A trick to remember. Alright. So positive integer plus, this can be negative integer plus positive integer, vice versa position. So you will just take out the two numbers from the given question, put them separately and find the difference. Now when you find the difference in that particular difference which you are doing, you see which is the first number that you have taken and what is the sign of that number in the given question. If it's a positive number, then either a positive sign. If it's a greater number, if in the difference, if the first number was having a positive sign, then a positive, and if the greater number was having a negative sign, then it is a negative answer. I hope it is clear to you. Now this was about your addition. Now we are coming to subtraction. So subtraction is denoted by A minus B. Now this A minus B, how to do? I can write this as A minus of plus B. I can write it because minus into plus is minus. Now what I will do, I will change this minus expression into a positive expression. That is, I will just interchange the sign. That is, I can write this as A plus of minus B. Same thing, it is plus into minus, minus B ultimately, or plus into minus, that is your minus sign ultimately. Okay. So if I give you an integer 12 minus 9. Okay, so this is actually given you in the minus form. So I'll write it in the plus form. 2 plus of minus 9. Now 12 minus 9 we already know it is 3. Let us see if using this I can get a plus 3 or not. So 12 plus of minus 9. I can see a positive integer 12 and a negative integer that is minus 9. So just bring out the numbers separately 12 and 9 and find their difference. Whenever two different integers you will find their difference. So 12 minus 9 is your 3. Now what is the sign of 12? 12 is having a positive sign. So the answer is positive 3 or simply 3 you can write. Okay. Next is if this was 16 minus 20. So this is given in the minus form. Let us write in the plus form. 16 plus of minus 20. Okay, now bring the, I can see it's in the form of a positive integer, negative integer. So bring the two numbers separately. 16 and 20 are the two numbers without the signs. Now find the difference. 20 minus 16 is equal to 4. Now 20, what is the sign of 20? That is minus. See, 20 is having a minus sign. So that is equal to minus 4. So 16 minus 20 is equal to minus 4. So what are we seeing over here? Whenever we are given a positive subtraction problem, we change it into a positive problem and we can do it just the way we learned how to do addition of the integers. Alright, clear? In a much shorter way you can do it, that is, if it is given like this, 20 minus 16 or 16 minus 20, this is plus 16 and minus 20. So you can think this as minus 20. So 16 and without doing so many steps, what you can do, 16 and 20 are the two numbers. So 16 and 20 money, you first do 20 minus 16, that is equal to 4. Now what is the sign before 20? It is a minus sign. So put a minus sign over here. Or you can say 26 minus 30. Okay, so 26 minus 30 means 26 one number, 30 one number. Okay, so smaller number minus bigger number. So first you find out the difference. 30 minus 26 is 4. What is the sign before 30? Minus sign. Put a minus sign over here. If I say 30 minus 26, 30 minus 26 is your 4. Which is greater? 30 is greater. Sign before 30 is positive. So positive. Here 30's number before sign before 30 was negative. So negative 4. Okay. Similarly, if I do 100 minus 50. So 100 minus 50, or let's say 100 minus 40, let's do 100 minus 40. So 100 minus 40, 100 is one number, 40 is one number. So difference is 60. So 100 is greater, sign before 100 is positive. So positive. But if I do 40 minus 100, so 100 minus 40 is 60. Now 100 is more than 40. So what is the sign before 100? It is having a negative sign. So a negative. What if I say plus 70 minus 30? Okay, plus 70 minus 30, this is same as 70 minus 30, that is equal to 40. What about 30 plus 70? 30 minus 30 plus 70. So I can see sign before 30 is minus, and here it is. You can say, ma'am, there is no two signs, no? So 30, this you can think it in this way, plus of plus 70. Okay, so it is now in the form of a addition sum. So minus 30 and 70. So difference is 40. Now what is the sign of 70? Because 70 is more than 30. So sign of 70 is plus. So plus 40. So here you see two different signs, means it's a negative problem. So we will do minus first. 70 minus 30 is 40. What is the sign of, because 70 is more, sign of 70 is plus. So plus 40 or simply 40. Okay. Minus 16 plus 8. Okay, so 1 positive, 1 negative. So 16, so first you will find the difference. 16 minus 8 is 8. Now what is the sign of 16? Because 16 is more than 8. So sign of 16 is minus. So minus 8. So minus 16 plus 8 is minus 8. Okay. Then next let's come to 25 plus 12. So minus 25 plus 12. So minus 25 plus 12, 1 plus 1 minus sign. So first you do the difference. So 25 minus 12 is 13. Yeah. So 25 is more or 12 is more? 25 is more. So what is the sign of 25? Minus. So minus 13. So this way you can do all sums if you learn the concept. That is, if I am given a positive integer and a negative integer, what will I do? I will first find out the difference. Now when you find the difference, just take out the numbers without the signs and find out the difference. Now while you find out the difference, you just see that the number that was taking the first position in the subtraction that you did. Now that number's sign is what in the given question, and that sign will come into the answer. So I hope we were at least you have understood the concept or how to approach sums based on your additions and subtraction. See the video a number of times so that the concept becomes clear on addition and subtraction. You can get more videos on multiplication and division in the next videos that is upcoming. So if you like the way we teach, or if you like the way I try to deliver the lesson to you, please like my channel. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please subscribe to learn more, and do comment if you feel you want to know something more or if you have any queries. So meet you in the next video. Goodbye. Hello and welcome to the classes by Monisha Nathpal. Today we are going to do the multiplication and division of integers. For doing multiplication and division of integers, you need to know certain rules. That is, if you multiply a positive integer with a positive integer, the result will always have a positive sign. If you multiply a negative integer with another negative integer, the result will have a positive sign. If you multiply a positive integer with a negative integer, or a negative integer into a positive integer, the result will always have a negative sign. That is, if I brief it out, if you multiply two integers having the same signs, either both positive or both negative, the product will always have positive signs. And if you multiply two integers where one of them is a positive, the other is a negative, the product will always have a negative sign. Say for example, minus 7 into minus 2. So what do we do over here? So as I told you about the signs, when you multiply both negative integer, the result will have a positive sign. So here about the sign, I can say it's a positive sign. And what about the numerical value? It will be 7 into 2. The signs will tell you what is going to be the sign of the product, and the two numbers, regardless of the signs, you will product them and write the product here in the result. If you have plus 7 into plus 2, that is, I can write it as 7 into 2, this is equal to 14. So you can see product of two negative numbers is a positive number. Here product of two positive numbers, so plus sign into a plus sign, you get a plus sign, or simply you can write 14, a plus here in the product. And what will be the numerical value? It will be just the product of the numbers present, 7 into 2, 14. So positive into positive is positive. So positive into positive is, either you can write plus 14 like this or 14. So plus 7 into plus 2 is plus 14, as 7 into 2 is equal to either plus 14 or 14. If I have plus 7 into minus 2, so where do we come? We come over here. That is a positive integer multiplied by a negative integer. So positive integer into negative integer. So what is going to be the sign? The sign will have, the product will have a minus sign. So here a minus sign. And what about the number? The number will be 7 into 2. So minus 14. Or I can have minus 7 into 2 or positive 2. That is equal to minus 14 again, because a minus integer here, you can follow over here, a minus integer into a positive integer is equal to a minus sign in the product, and the number is product of 7 and 2. I repeat once again. So when you multiply the integers having same signs, when both the integers have the same signs, then in that case the result will also have a positive sign. So if both the integers are positive, then the product will also have a positive sign. Here you saw. And if there's any one of the integers having a positive, the other negative, then in that case the result will have a negative sign. Like here we saw plus 7 into minus 2 is equal to minus 14, or minus 7 into a positive 2 is equal to minus 14. Now this was about multiplying two numbers. But what if the case is more number of integers are involved to find a product? Say for example, if I say minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3. What about this? Minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3. So first I will find out the product of these two. What is minus 1 into minus 2? Product of two negative integers means the result will have a positive sign. So that is equal to plus 2. Minus 1 into minus 2 is plus 2. So minus 2 into minus 3 is equal to, now here I can see the product of one positive, one negative. So that is equal to minus 6. That means minus 1 into minus 2 into minus 3 is equal to minus 6. Another example you see, minus 2 into minus 3 into minus 4 into minus 5. What I can see over here? Okay, product of these is equal to minus 2 into minus 3 is equal to 6, and this is equal to minus 4 into minus 5 is 20. That is equal to 120. So I can see over here, when there were three numbers involved and the three numbers were three negative integers, I could see that there is a minus sign. But when there are four negative integers involved in the product, I can see I got a positive sign. So from here we can say that if I have a product of negative integers, n negative integers, if I have a product of n negative integers, there will be two results to it. Now, once this product, if I have the product of a series of negative integers, say n negative integers are multiplied together, I will have two cases. Either the product will be having a positive sign or the product will have a negative sign. Now, what is the case? When do we have a positive sign and when do we have a negative sign? You will have a positive sign when the number of the integers, number of negative integers involved is even. When the number of negative integers involved in the multiplication is even, it has a positive sign. The product has a positive sign. And if the number of negative integers involved in the multiplication is odd, please remember n is the number of integers, okay, how many integers, counting the number of integers. So if the n is odd, means number of integers in the product is odd, then it will have the product will have a minus sign. So you can check this out with all the sums that we have done so far. Here I was having two negative integers. So two negative integers means n is even, that means a positive sign. So see, here we have a positive sign. Here what did we see? N, the number of negative integers involved here is 1. See, one negative integer. Positive integers do not bring any changes in the product, but it is the negative integers who bring in the change in the signs. So it's one negative integer over here. That means 1 is an odd number. So there will be a minus sign. See, the product has a minus sign. Similarly over here, there was only one negative integer involved in the product. So we'll have a minus sign. Similarly here you see 1, 2, 3. There are 3 negative integers involved in the product. So negative integers 3 means it's an odd number. So yes, we got a minus sign in the product. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers were involved. 4 negative integers were involved in the product. So see, 4 means it's even. So a positive sign. So yes, we got a positive sign. So I hope this concept is clear. Now using this, we will be doing a few more deductions from here. Now in case your x1 is equal to x2 is equal to x3, means all these are, say, in general equal to x. They are same. That means minus x into minus x into minus x into minus x. Okay, say n times we have this. So what is going to be the answer or the product? Now here, following this, if n is even, it will be positive and x is multiplied n times. Here there were n different integers multiplied, but here we have the same integer which is multiplied n times. So x into x into x, n times it is. That means it is x to the power n plus x to the power n, or you can write x to the power n. But if in case it is odd, n is odd, that means this. So that is equal to minus x into x into x into x, you have n times. That is equal to minus x to the power n. This is using the laws of indices. That is, x multiplied n times to itself is x to the power n. Here also same thing, x multiplied n times is x to the power n. Here if it is even number of times the x is multiplied, means the number of negative x's that have involved in the product is even, then the product will have a plus sign. And if the number of negative x's that have involved in the product is odd, then it has a minus sign. Using more of this, if now your x now if in case we use this as minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1 n times, n is even, n is odd. Okay, so minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1, same thing. This pattern only I am following. So what it is, if n is even, it becomes positive x to the power n. So here what is the x? It is 1 to the power n. And what is 1 to the power n? 1 to the power anything is 1. Means 1 multiplied 1000 times, 1 multiplied 100 times, 1 multiplied any number of times to itself is 1. So 1 to the power anything, any number of times it is multiplied, it is 1 to the power n. And if it is odd, so minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1, odd number of times if it is multiplied, then we have a minus 1 to the power n. Following this, minus 1 to the power n. Now 1 to the power n is 1, so it is minus 1. So the basic thing is, if minus 1 is multiplied n times, if n is even, then your answer is 1. Okay, and if n is odd, the answer is minus 1. I repeat, minus 1 multiplied n times. For n being even, the answer is 1. For n being odd, the answer is minus 1. You don't need to multiply. Suppose I say minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1, say 10 times I multiply. So do you think you need to do minus 1 in 10 times? You will multiply? No, because minus 1 is multiplied 10 times. 10 is what? 10 is an even number. So answer will be 1, because n is even, answer is 1. 1. If it is 121 times the minus 1 is multiplied, then what will be the answer? It will be minus 1. Why minus 1? Because because 121 is an odd number. So for n being odd, the answer is minus 1. I hope it is clear. All right, so let us do. Find out the product of this. I'll give you some time, you will solve it out. Come on, let's take some time and finish it off. Okay, so whenever you see sums like this, I said positive numbers will not bring any changes in the product. It's the negative ones who will bring. So 1, 2, 3 negative terms are there. There are 3 negative numbers involved, or 3 negative integers involved. So negative 3 are there. So 3 is an odd number. So the product will have a minus sign. So what is the product of these? The product will be 4200. What about this? Say minus 2 is multiplied 6 times. So minus 2 is a negative integer which is multiplied 6 times. Now 6 is an even number. So that means minus 2 is multiplied even number of times. So the product will have a plus sign, and it is 2 to the power 6. So 2 to the power 6, you can find out the value of 2 to the power 6, that is 64. Next is minus 2 multiplied 9 times. Now 9 is an odd number, so the product will have a minus sign, and this is 2 to the power 9. So 2 to the power 9 is 512. So the answer is minus 512. Similarly, if I write one more sum over here, minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1, say 90 times, then what will be the answer? This should not take any time at all, because 90 is an even number. So this will take answer as 1. And if I multiply minus 1 101 times, what about this? Now 101 is a odd number, so the answer will be minus 1. So I hope this is clear. See this video a number of times so that the concept of multiplication becomes very easy. These sums have been done for you. Each and every type, please go through a number of times to get the concept cleared. Every minute thing is told to you in a very detailed way, so that this part becomes very clear. So whenever you are given multiplication of a larger number of integers, just see how many negative integers are involved in that multiplication. The positive integers do not bring any changes in the sign of the product. It's always the negative integers. So if it's a odd number of negative integers involved in the product, then always the product will have a minus sign. And if there are even number of negative integers involved along with some positive integers we are not using them for the sign consideration. It's always the negative integers which we will see for the sign consideration. But the numbers, the positive numbers, of course, are being used to find the product. But for the sign we always consider the negative integers. So count the number of negative integers involved. If it's odd number of negative integers involved in the product, then the product will have a minus sign. For odd, it's minus, and if there are even number of negative integers present in the product, then you will always have a positive sign in the product. Next, we are coming to division. Now, for division here also, you need to know some rules. Rule 1, if I divide a positive integer by a positive integer, or simply a by b, then the result will always have a positive sign. Result will always have a positive sign. Say for example, minus 8 plus 8 divided by plus 2. So it is plus 8 by 2. What is 8 by 2? 4. So plus 4 or simply 4. So if I have the numbers involved in the division both have the positive signs, then the answer will also have a positive sign. If both the numbers involved have a minus sign, then the answer will have a positive sign, that is minus 8 divided by minus 2. What will be this? That is equal to plus 8 by 2, that is equal to plus 4 or simply 4. Now next comes your rule 2. In rule 2, if you have a positive integer divided by a negative integer, then the answer will have a negative sign, that is plus 8 divided by minus 2. So it is minus of 8 by 2, that is equal to minus 4. Or if you have a minus a divided by a positive b, so that will also have a minus sign. Okay, that is equal to, say let's take minus 8 divided by a plus 2, that is equal to minus 8 by 2, that is minus 4. So you could see over here, that is if both the numbers involved in the division have same signs, either both positive or both negative, the quotient or the answer will always have a positive sign. But if the numbers involved are of different signs, that is one positive, one negative, then in that case the answer will always have a negative sign. Let us do quickly finish it off. So yes, this one is, so I can see one negative, one positive. So the quotient will have a minus sign as per the rules that we just now learnt. So this is minus 9. Here 152 by minus 19, one positive, one negative. That means a minus of 8. Next, minus 234 divided by minus 13. both are having negative signs. So it will have a positive sign in the answer. So this is 18. So I hope the concept of division and multiplication will be becoming easier and very much interesting with this explanation what I have tried to give you. Please go through the video so that you can learn about the multiplication and division of the videos. If you like the channel, please like it. If you want to share it with your friends, please do share the links of the videos that you have in my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe my channel. Thank you.